Alright, so we'll go to the properties on the player here, and the next one we have is the character controller box. So this is going to be the basic mover object for our player, and essentially it's going to be the one that when you bring in a player, you may have a player who's really skinny, it might be bipedal, like a person walking or something, and you want it to be smaller. Well, you may do something similar to this where you take the radius and then you take the height up to match, and then you try to focus it. When you do it, you'll probably notice that you may be close to the bottom, and you just have to find, when you hit play, you'll see how much higher or lower you need it to go to work with it. But also, you have a center point, so if your character animation is like off to the side, you're intending to have the body here with other things happening out here, you can move it left and right. You can also move, for instance, you can move it up and down as well. So if you want it to be down here or up here. And as if, for instance, maybe you wanted to have a full object here, but you wanted it to look like it's floating. Maybe you want it to actually feel like it's actually hovering above the tile itself. You could do something similar to this. Along with this one, we'll take a look at how this works here in just a second, but along with it, there is a slope limit. Is what's the angle it can or can't climb. By default, it's set to 90, which means it can go up every angle except for a direct 90-degree angle. And that means the curve itself right here hitting on a 90-degree angle. And then you have the step offset, which is how high above this object will it actually step up to the next one. Can I walk over to this and then step up to the next block? Or do I step up only on something a little bit lower? And we'll leave it at 20, and we'll put a couple of blocks in here so you can see the difference with them. And then the last one is going to be the walk-through characters. If you remember, if you've been following along with the other, you'll note that the characters didn't walk through each other. So if you have a character with the walk-through characters, then this can actually pass between characters without colliding. Alright, they can still interact, but they're just simply, in terms of movement, they're going to be able to move through each other. Alright, so let's go ahead and do this one right here. We'll go ahead and we'll leave the character box from there. I'm just going to use my move tool. We'll move this up a little bit here. And let's go ahead and take the block. We're going to do a couple of blocks here just so you can see it. We'll take a block and move it down a little bit lower right here. And then we'll take a block a little bit higher. There we go. Alright, so those will give you an idea of what the slope, the step value offset is for it. So for instance, like right now, so the player is above, because if you remember, we put the controller box below it. So he's basically, if it was a flying character, he's supposed to float all the time. Then you can have it where it looks like he's above the ground. Now, the distance is actually small enough here that the player can actually go up in between each one of those. Alright, so if you remember, when the block was by itself, the player couldn't pass through this one, but if it's up enough, which for the slope amount, the step offset was on 20, so it allows them to actually step up between these. Alright, so it's going to be basic setup for the character controller, give you a chance to be able to really fine-tune what the character can and can't do. And we'll take a look at a few more of the properties on that one on the next video here.